Welcome to the show, guys. We are talking about 5 overrated quarterbacks, overpriced quarterbacks you don't want to overpay for fantasy football 2022 in your drafts, okay? I'm going to lay out these 5. I'm going to tell you guys why they're overrated and why you shouldn't pay for them and why there's so much depth at the quarterback position. You don't need to overpay for these guys, okay? So 5 overpriced quarterbacks here on this show. Before we get into this, guys, get the 16-round draft solution. This is the game changer. All the optimal plays at each position, sleepers, breakouts, dynasty, everything you need in one spot to help you guys crush your draft. By the time you're done your draft, you'll be light years ahead of the competition. It is a video training. There is notes. I'm going to add a printable cheat sheet. I update the notes. Okay, everything is there for you. For the draft solution, get the 16-round draft solution. I've linked it here below. And for the year-long stuff, it's 365. That's going to help you guys with your waiver wire, starts and sits, community chat, everything you guys need for your stuff during your year, including DFS in the 365 community. Get them below. I've linked them here on YouTube, or head on over to thefantasyfootballcouncil.com, or just simply Google 16-round draft solution. It comes up. Watch the video, learn about it, and get in. Now, if you're new to the channel, I know a lot of people watch the channel but aren't subscribed. So it's very important, guys. Please help the channel. Subscribe. This is how I make a living. It really means a lot to me. Hit that subscribe button. It genuinely means a lot. I appreciate it. And join the community. This is the #1 fantasy football community on the planet. You see it here. You see it on Instagram. #1 Instagram verified page at Fantasy Football Counselor. Go follow there as well. Join the community. All right, guys? Let's dive into this. 5 overpriced quarterbacks, okay? Very simple for me, guys. When it comes to quarterback, I don't overpay. It's very simple. You don't need to overpay. And the reason being is that there is, if you're in a 12-person league, there's at least 20 viable quarterbacks. Quarterbacks that'll get it done for you. Quarterbacks that will put up points every single week for you, okay? And the cool thing about quarterbacks is that you kind of see that trend with them. You can kind of see that guy performed that year. He's probably going to do similar the year after, unless there's some sort of catastrophic change on that roster. Maybe things will fluctuate significantly, like maybe Russell Wilson going to Denver. It could either bring him up or down. I like the upside of Wilson this year either way, and I like the value. So, what you see is kind of what you get for the most part, so you don't have to go crazy. Now, what ends up happening, going back to 2019, Lamar Jackson had that good year. Everybody the year after said, well, the mainstream told you this, sheep told you, draft Lamar Jackson, in the second round in a 1-quarterback league. He was the #1 quarterback off the board. I said, avoid him. Just completely avoid. Do not draft Lamar. Sure enough, he finished 10th that year amongst quarterbacks, so he completely busted based on his ADP. Pat Mahomes, I had him. I told 16 rounds to get Pat Mahomes before the year he broke out. That was the year he had like 50 touchdowns. Everybody drafted him the year after, had a bit of regression, okay? So you got to know when to hold him, know when to fold him. I cannot emphasize enough, and I also want to emphasize another fantasy football draft strategy when it comes to quarterbacks. Anchor your team with an ace quarterback. I always like to have an ace quarterback, and I like to get a backup. So if you're in a 2-quarterback league, you have 3 quarterbacks. If you're in a 1-quarterback league, you have 2 quarterbacks. But you got to know which ones to get and when to grab them. And I explain all that in the 16-round draft solution. So I wanted to give you guys some background there in regards to quarterback and quarterback strategy, okay, if you guys want to dominate. This is very practical stuff. So the first quarterback that I think is very expensive this year and is overpriced is Josh Allen. Now, I love Josh Allen. I think Josh Allen is great. Now, Josh Allen I liked, and I had him on my rosters when everybody else was thinking Baker Mayfield was better. Yes, there was a time on this planet and in time, I wish there was a time machine. I can go back to that time to show you that. But there was actually a time, and it's on my Instagram, I posted this, where people thought Baker Mayfield was better than Josh Allen. I was like, nah, you know what? Josh Allen is better. And people thought I was crazy. Institutionalize that guy. Put him in a straitjacket. The counselor is wrong. Baker Mayfield, they said, is better than Josh Allen, is what the whole narrative was. He was ranked ahead of him. I said, no, Josh Allen is better. What don't you understand? Josh Allen, when he first got in the league, had some inaccuracy issues. I went to one of their training camps in Buffalo. There were some issues there, but he fixed them, right? He got better, and last year, amazing numbers, right? 36 touchdowns, 15 interceptions. I'd like to see that interception come down. Those interceptions come down. His attempts were good, rushing 122, 6 rushing touchdowns, 763 rushing yards. Pretty impressive. That's what inflates his numbers a little bit. And over 4,400 yards. Pretty good, okay? Now, with Josh Allen, here's the thing. His attempts are good. It was 646. He's up there in the attempts. He's solid. He's a solid quarterback. But the problem is you're going to overpay for him. He's overpriced. You're going to have to pay a second-round pick to get him, maybe even a first-round pick. Now, if you're in a 2-quarterback league, he's definitely coming off in the first round. And I'm telling you guys, I'm going to tell you guys for all 5 of these guys, you can wait on quarterback. It's very simple. There's other quarterbacks. They're going to be value. They're not going to be Josh Allen, but you should be loading up on the most scarce position early on anyway, which is the running back. So Josh Allen, I like him. I like them better when I can get him in the 6th round, like I could fifth or 6th round, like I got him last year. I don't want to pay a 2nd round pick for him. Overpriced. Okay, number 2 here. I hate to say this because I love him, but now he's inflated. And last year, and if you guys got 6 rounds, you guys know where you got him is Justin Herbert. And Justin Herbert's going to be expensive this year. And understandably so, 5,014 yards last year, 38 touchdowns, 15 interceptions. That's 2 more than Josh Allen in regards to touchdowns. Obviously less rushing yards with 302. He had the 3 rushing touchdowns, but the guy's a stud. Now they paid Mike Williams a handsome sum of money. You know, they got Keenan Allen coming back, Austin Eckler. The offense is going to be good. We're going to have to see what the NFL draft holds and what they're going to do to help improve that offense, but they're probably going to work on that defense. They're contenders in that division, in a very tough division, right? With Pat Mahomes and all the other characters. Derek Carr, I'm not really crazy about. But either way, I'm just not overpaying for Justin Herbert either. Josh Allen, Justin Herbert, I like these guys in round 5. Now that everybody's riding them, I'm going to retract my bid, and I'm going to say, let somebody else have them. I enjoyed them for the value of the 5th round. I'm not going to pay for them in the 2nd or 3rd round. I'm just not going to do it. Not going to do it. And again, you got to find those value ace quarterbacks in the 5th round. There's a ton of those guys. Don't overpay. Okay. I love Justin Herbert. He was my guy last year. I told everyone to draft him. 5th round, anchor your team with an ace quarterback. Herbert was on all my rosters, won all my leagues. And here's the thing. He's too expensive now. I don't want to pay it. Period. That's it. 3rd guy here, a little overpriced for me, is Patrick Mahomes. Now, here's the deal with Patrick Mahomes. Well, let's talk about Patrick Mahomes, okay? This guy had his pinnacle year, 2-3 years ago. Great. Just lost his best wide receiver, his big playmaker, who overall, guys, if you look at Tyreek Hill, he had some very inflationary games, like boom type of games. And here's the deal. He's gone. Now, you can say, well, Joey's still got Travis Kelce. He's got Mecole Hardman. We're going to see what they do in the draft. He's got some weapons there. They brought in Juju. Yeah, Juju. I'm really excited. Not. So, again, it's like Tyreek Hill's gone, and he's got those inflationary games where he comes out with 40 to 50 points in PPR, amongst wide receivers. Pat Mahomes has this outlet where even if when he's in trouble or if he's on one foot or he's running backwards or he's blindfolded, I don't care. He throws up these passes and Tyreek Hill's speed comes up with him. He loses that significant weapon, so he's going to lose that yardage. He's going to lose that talent at wide receiver. That may or may not impact him. I think it's going to impact him more towards the negative for obvious reasons. He's losing a stud, speedy receiver. And the fact of the matter is, Pat Mahomes is currently sitting 2nd amongst quarterbacks. Josh Allen's number 1, Pat Mahomes number 2, and Justin Herbert number 3. I'm going to fade him. Now, we should just said, Joe, this episode's called Fade Early Quarterbacks or whatever, all the top guys. Yeah, but I want to dive into this, okay? And one of them is not, he's ranked 7th, which I'll get into in a second. But Pat Mahomes had his pinnacle year. He's lost his best wide receiver. He's 2nd on the consensus Sheep's rankings amongst quarterbacks, which means he's going to be an expensive pick. I liked him again the time I got him in the 10th round, and he finished with 50 touchdowns. That's the Pat Mahomes I like. That's the Pat Mahomes I paid for. Now that everyone's on the train, I'm not going to be on this train. I'm just not going to do it. When I get so much more value later and back them up, I can get 2 starting quarterbacks for value that could possibly beat Pat Mahomes in fantasy points this year, okay? And I'm not going to tell you who. I'll give you a couple, whatever. Jalen Hurts, Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson. There's so many guys here. Tom Brady, I think he's due for another Super Bowl. You can get value at quarterback, and it may not have those boom type of games that Pat Mahomes gets sometimes, right? But you're going to get consistent numbers out of your ace quarterback, okay? And you can get 2 of them. There's so much depth, especially in a 1-quarterback league. So Pat Mahomes past his heyday. I'm passing on him. So Josh Allen, Herbert, and Mahomes out for me. Next guy here, and he's ironically sitting 4th, is Kyler Murray. Now, Kyler Murray, I think, actually has a better gear. And what blows my mind here is the mainstream are all over Kyler Murray. I love Kyler Murray. He's number 4. I love him. He's great. Now, he played 14 games last year, 37, 87 in regards to passing yards, 24 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. Everybody loves him, right? And the youth is there. But what about DeAndre Hopkins? Why is he ranked outside the top 10? This is the guy that everybody in the mainstream loved last year. All of a sudden, they're off the DeAndre Hopkins train. Why? Because he had a bad year last year, one bad year. So I'm all over to getting Hopkins for value later, third, fourth round, but I'm not all about getting Kyler Murray in the second or third round. I'm just not going to do it. He's overinflated. He's overpriced. I still think he has a good year. There's nothing wrong with any of these quarterbacks. I want to emphasize that. Joe told me not to draft Josh Allen. What the heck? I'm just telling you guys, don't overpay. Load up on running backs early. It's the most scarce position. There's only like 8 to 9 to maybe 10, not even, running backs that have minimal committees, right? Everyone else in the committee. So you want to load up on that position early and not the quarterback position. So Kyler Murray's overpriced. Now, there's other overpriced quarterbacks here. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. Dak Prescott's my fifth one here. Now he's sitting seventh on the consensus, losing his top receiver in Amari Cooper. Michael Gallup has always been known to have injuries. CeeDee Lamb should take a step up this year. We've seen Zeke Elliott decline year after year as Pollard gets more attempts and receptions, and Zeke goes down in receptions and volume. Listen, I like Dak Prescott, but what you see is what you get. And he's been pretty consistent throughout the years. I'm not trying to knock Dak Prescott. I mean, last year he had a good year, played 16 games, 37 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. Always finishing near the top. I know he had that one injury, when was it, in 2020, had a down year, always finishing on top. He had a good year in 2019 with 337.78 points, 285 points in 2018. Hey, look, Dak Prescott is good, but that injury in 2022 scares me. Amari Cooper getting shipped off scares me. And again, he's going into his 7th season, okay? You know, what you see is kind of what you get. You're going to get a safe quarterback, but I don't want to overpay for a safe quarterback. Does that make sense? I can get a guy later. I'm not going to name names here. Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, Russell Wilson. I can still back them up with a guy like Matt Ryan. There's so many options here at quarterback, right? Where I can get a safe quarterback later, but I still think this guy's a little high for me, and he's going to come off a little higher for a guy that I can still get the value with other guys a round or two later. Does that make sense? So Dak Prescott, a little overpriced for me. And I think he's peaked. You know, I think he peaked in 2019 with those 337 points. He had the 30 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. Last year had a pinnacle type year, 37 touchdowns. That was his highest in regards to touchdowns in his entire career. So let me repeat that. In 2021, he threw more touchdowns than he ever has. That could be a pinnacle year. He lost his top receiver. I still like Gallup, still like him. Don't get me wrong. I like CeeDee Lamb. We're going to have to see what happens after the NFL draft. But again, a little too expensive for me is Dak Prescott. So there you have it, guys. Herbert, Allen, Mahomes, Murray, Dak. Love the talent. A little too expensive for the fantasy football counselor. Load up on running backs early. Tons of depth at the quarterback position. All right, guys? If you're new to the channel, make sure you guys subscribe. Thumbs up. I appreciate you. And I am out. And get 16 rounds. It'll help you guys crush your leagues. Talk soon.